Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Learn How to See Better. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I am glad you're here with me today. And in this episode, what we're going to do is talk about something a little bit different. We're going to take a quick break from what we've been talking about. And these last couple episodes, we've been talking about core values. We've been talking about core focus and these things and how important they are for an individual that wants to put together a vision for their own life. Okay? So these are key core components that I want to make sure everyone understands as we go through this process, because what some of the objective is here is to help people see how they can actually empower themselves to take back control and begin to put a positive, more desirable structure around the design of their life. I'm trying to help you guys hack your lives. And I think it's possible for everyone to do it and to be able to live the life of their dreams sooner than later. But before, we go with big, hairy, audacious goals and what we're going to be doing over the next decade, I do think it's important to take a second and think about why we even bother to set goals, or better yet, okay, you see that goals might be important, but why do you set the goals that you set? Why set this one over that one? What really gives you the inclination to set a big goal or just a tiny goal? And I think what's so interesting about this is just the fact that we will generally set a goal for something that we want or something that's going to make us feel good, right? We're typically setting goals around some sort of pleasurable state, or we feel like we'll have pleasure or happiness when we achieve this particular thing. And so we in some cases, tie some happiness to achieving that goal or achieving that objective. And what I want to do is challenge us to really think that through, because one of the biggest eye-opening things that I learned about goal setting is that you should set your goals for who you must become to achieve them rather than what you actually get. And that was such a novel concept to me. I'll say it again here. Set your goals for who you must become to achieve that goal, not for what you get. It almost seems completely backwards, right? The natural, logical thinking for somebody would be, well, I'm setting the goal because I want to get the thing. I want to get the prize. I want to get the notoriety, the stature, the reputation, the bragging rights, the success, the money, the health, whatever, right? The looks, the girls, the car, you name it, okay? But how often do we set a goal for the person that we will become? And this is what helped tie it together. I heard Tony Robbins talk about this. So I heard the original concept from Jim Rohn. Set your goals based on, important things, who you become, not what you get. And then Tony added a layer on top of it when he talked about that your purpose has to be bigger than your outcome. And it's essentially kind of saying a similar thing in a different way. It's the purpose that's really going to drive you. It's like I could say, go climb that mountain and I'll give you $1 million, right? That might not really drive you, but, if I said, go climb that mountain because you're going to, save someone's life that's important to you, right? That goal isn't necessarily, in this case, I guess it is driven some by what you get. But the point of the example is just saying, you want to have a bigger purpose than your outcome. And I think that makes a lot of sense, because a lot of us will find that if we're driven to do something to help or benefit someone else, that may actually push us to go harder, to go further, to try harder than we would for even ourselves. I mean, you can think of so many instances in history where somebody might go and make sure they finish school for their mom to make them proud, or they might I remember when the Buster Douglas fight, when he beat Mike Tyson, right? I mean, the guy was practically beaten. He was outman for the battle, but he promised his mom he was going to win that fight. And, that was something that was able to fuel him and help propel him to success, even in the darkest hour when he was already, struggling a little bit in that fight. But the point is, when you set your goals for the right reasons, for important reasons, not for just these surface basic tangible things that won't matter much, week after you achieve them, then that's going to empower you to be a little bit more driven, right? A little bit more hungry to actually get that thing. When the purpose is bigger than the outcome, when the person that you must become is bigger than you are right now. Right? It's almost like if you wanted to use a sports analogy and say you're 4 feet tall and you wanted to, play in the NBA, or you wanted to dunk a basketball. It's like, well, you're gonna have to become a different person. You're gonna have to grow and become bigger than who you are now to accomplish that task. Now, that's an easy symbolic way to state it, but it's no different if you are looking to be the person that can evolve to a point where you can attract the person of your dreams, right? You might be too immature right now to attract the person of your dreams. You might have some jealous tendencies. I mean, it could be any number of reasons why we in our current state are actually repelling the person of our dreams, because at the end of the day, we actually attract who we are. And that can be very telling. So if you don't like the people that are around you so much, guess what? Look in the mirror, right? But the point is, as we start to move forward and get back on track with these additional episodes where we are going to start to talk about that vision and honing in on the future by stepping back again and creating a focus based on what's near and dear to our heart, we're going to be that much more readily equipped to piece the right portions of the vision together as it comes together as a whole. So that was one thing I wanted to make sure, as we took a quick timeout sanity check to reset some of the things that we think about goals, because not everything that we should be setting our sights for with regards to goal setting is going to be, a tangible, typically considered a success-based accolade, like the big house, the big car, the big paycheck, right? I'm talking about the goals that you feel rewarded on the inside when you achieve them, when you have to grow and stretch yourself to become a completely different person. Goals so big that when you hit them, you don't even recognize the person that set them anymore, because you're two completely different people. And when we look at how we can completely write the story of our lives and some of the goals that we want to set for our lives and the quality of our life, we should be thinking in that capacity, putting the purpose over the outcome, and focus on who you must become to achieve the goal than what you actually get. And that's been one of probably the biggest things that I've had to adopt in my goal setting process, because when you're young and you're just eager and hungry to do some exciting things, you do think it's about a lot of the materialistic, tangible things, and to some degree they can symbolize reward for the hard work, if that's the value you place on them. But to really live the life of fulfillment and bliss, I think we have to push ourselves to say, okay, well, even if you take all those material possessions away, what do you still have? And that's where we challenge ourselves to look for quality of life and satisfaction at a higher level. And you really do need to take that time to say, okay, let's evaluate the purpose. There's still the component of outcome with any goal, but when you look at it from the standpoint of saying, okay, who must I become, or who must I grow to be in order to have this thing that I'm setting out to get. So with that, this was just a quick check-in, almost like an interlude of sorts, as we forge ahead, and we will start to look at what your life is going to look like in the year 2030, because the best day to design it is today. So let's do that, okay? Thanks again for joining. Hope this is making sense. If you're coming in just now joining me and getting started, you probably want to run it back a couple of episodes, because we're talking about something real cool. It's talking about how to design your own life, and basically looking at a blueprint for how you could actually go about doing that. So I'm hoping you'll find a journey like this with me pretty interesting, and really do hope that you enjoy it. Feel free to drop in any questions along the way as we take you through these next few episodes. But until then, feel free to share it with a friend or tag somebody that needs this. And as always, you can subscribe and catch me right here on Learn How to See Better. the only podcast that will improve your vision the longer you listen. All right, everyone, thanks a lot. This is Drew Davis, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.